Hello YouTube, welcome back to the channel. Something unique I want to show you today. It's kind of a little family secret, as it were. There's an old picture at home of me when I was 4 years old, which is 54 years ago. And in that picture, I'm pointing at a partridge nest right here on the ground. Nothing significant, nothing strange about a partridge nest, because there's lots of partridge around in these woods. Used to be a lot more than there was back before the coyotes moved in here, but still a lot of partridge. But the significance of that picture is that back in those days there was a newspaper published here in the Maritimes called the Family Herald. And the Family Herald had run a contest for people. You know, you could measure the size of different species of trees on your wood ground and enter the contest who had the biggest trees. And my family didn't enter any trees in the contest at the time, but the white pine that won the contest back then, the measurement at breast height was 4 inches smaller than this tree right here beside me. Now, let's swing the camera around here so that we can get a little bit of a glimpse of this tree. This tree measures 14 foot 6 at breast height around the tree, the circumference. And that makes this tree either, now depending on the sources of there's different registries that I've seen, different documentation about the sizes of trees, that either makes this the largest white pine in the Maritimes, or it at the very least puts it in the top 3. But as near as I can find from the Canada Tree Registry, and what documentation I can find, this tree right here behind me, this white pine, is the largest white pine in the Maritime provinces. That's New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, Prince Edward Island. I'm going to tip the camera back here and let you look up. As the old children's show used to say, look up, look way up. So, we can see going up, 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 and further up, and further up, and further up. Now, this tree doesn't look at first glance to be that tall, but if you were out on the river valley, the valley is down south of us. If you were out on the river valley and you were looking up, you would find the crown of one tree that stands about 30 feet taller than every other tree around it. Now, let's turn the camera around here a little bit. Here's a mature white pine standing right beside it, probably a child off of this tree. This tree is over 2 feet on the stump, probably approaching 28 inches. And if we look down through the woods right over there, there's another one hiding behind that balsam fir, and that one is 24 inches on the stump. And then we turn back around here for reference. Try and get the camera to stand here. The ground is very uneven, but for reference, I'm not a small guy, and there's the size of the tree. It's still well out there and over here. That is a big old tree. Now, here in New Brunswick, back in 1825, there was a fire burned up this river, known as the Great Miramichi Fire. It started down at the mouth of the river and burned to the headwaters of the Miramichi, jumped over the Nashwauk drainage, over the St. John River drainage, and burnt all the way into the state of Maine. And I would venture a guess that either this tree was a survivor of that fire, or this tree came up immediately after that fire. I know that white pine seeds in well on burned over ground, and the front half of this property here, from the river valley back half a mile or better, there's quite a stand of white pine, and this one could have seeded in after the fire, is potential. I've never had a core sample done onto it. I don't want to do anything that might damage it. This tree, like I say, these other white pine that's around it would have 3 and 4 16-foot logs, and usually a 12-foot log up in the top of them, and then a couple of 8-foot pieces. This one stands, like I say, at least 30 feet taller than everything else around it. If you're out on the river valley and you look across and you see, you know, all these big mature pine, and then all of a sudden here's the queen, and she's taller than everything else around it. So yeah, just wanted you to have a little glimpse at it. Let's take a walk around it. If we can get around it for trees and brush here. Here's the north side. I'm just going to shorten the tripod up here because I'm catching on brush. Okay, here's the north side of the tree. Continuing on around here. Looking at her from the east side. If this tree ever dies, I'm going to try and harvest it. But I can guarantee you I can't fit that on my sawmill. And the commercial sawmill here that saws white pine wouldn't take her because she's too big. So if I ever happen to harvest it, I'll be cutting it and quartering it with chainsaw so it'll fit on my sawmill, and we'll take her that way. Like I say, there's another pine right over there. That pine's 2 feet on the stump. There's another one down in the woods there, 2 feet on the stump, and there's a couple back in here behind us, some big ones there. That one would be probably 20 inches on the stump and behind that spruce. Another one over in there. But nothing that's coming close to the sheer size of this tree. Like I say, at breast height, 14 feet 6 inches around it, which makes her, I'm quite sure, that is the biggest white pine in the Maritime provinces. I wanted you guys to have a little look at it, since you're kind enough to subscribe and follow my channel and look things over. So anyway, we're going to be doing some harvest on back of here today, and just on the way through, I wanted you to see this. Take care.